Good morning. Juicy topic today. Also, happy Friday. Wherever you're watching this, energetically or physically, please raise your hand if you have found yourself in this pattern of assuming that all men are liars, or if you're, or wherever your extreme thinking about this goes. It may be men, it may be women, it may be bosses, it may be parents. But even if you're not here and live with me, if this connects with you, claim it. Because what I wanted to discuss today is how maybe this isn't our fault. How this came to be. And what it does in limiting us in our relationships. And then how to heal. It's kind of what I would like to go through, and we will see what happens, because you never know. This is a live video that I'm on right now. You'll probably be watching the recording. So, one sec. So this is again, much like my work and my teachings, it's a pretty personal share for me, because I didn't really realize how mistrusting I was of men. As a woman, I have been harmed by men. Mostly for most of my life. I have either been a tool for their fulfillment or a punching bag for their anger. And to me, it makes complete sense why that I felt this way for years, that men are liars. That in order for me to protect myself, this was what I had to come up with. And this was an unconscious thing, and this happens over time. But it's such a deep-seated thing, especially if we're talking about relationship. Especially if we're talking about really wanting to feel connected with someone, or that connective energy with that thing that you're struggling with right now in your life. And having this belief that men are liars, it really did make me feel very disconnected from things that I wanted. Like deep-seated intimate connection, especially with men in romance, for me. But I would urge you to think of maybe how this applies to you. It made me feel like I was alone. It made me feel like that I had to be strong in a way of not being vulnerable, because vulnerability hurt, actually. It made me feel like that I was kind of the only one that would, it made me feel like I was the only one that like cared about me. And in some ways, let me just backtrack. Like in some ways, yes, obviously that's important. Our relationship with ourselves is a very primary, in my opinion, it's a primary driver for how we interact in the world. But it kind of just made me feel just so alone and hopeless and helpless that I was ever going to get that connection that I really wanted. And the interesting thing about this coping mechanism of this belief that we have that men are liars is that, again, it did serve a very good purpose for us. Because, or at least for me, because I was never really shown that men can be trusting, that they can see me for who I am and not just the way I look or the way I make them feel. And after so many times of getting hurt and coming from some childhood, combining that with childhood wounding around not being, again, seen for the same idea, like not being seen for who I was. So I end up here in my adulthood when I really want a beautiful connection with a romantic partner. I really want beautiful connection and deep, intimate connection with friends, with money, with my work. But if I'm always mistrusting of their intention, then it blocks us. It blocks us from receiving anything, any good. And so my call out here is that if you've noticed this as a pattern within you that happens to you multiple times, is that you may have some deep emotional wounding that needs to be cleared about trusting other people. Because to me, what that indicates is that you've had to set up this strict boundary to protect yourself in the past. And there's the part of you in your nervous system, a part of things going on in your brain and your neural pathways that are telling you that if you don't have this boundary, then you're going to get hurt. Emotional pain. So I hope that makes sense. But what happens when you start to heal, and you start to heal that emotional wounding at the root level, not something like if you're kind of developed in the journey, you might be like, duh, in my mind, I know that men aren't liars. But there's something in me like that holds in my chest or maybe in my stomach or in my gut that feels scary because it's mistrusting, it's not trusting the opposite sex, or it's not trusting this relational dynamic going on. And what I would urge you to think about is that when we heal our emotional wounds, what happens is we start to trust ourselves. Because if we're mistrusting others, if that's a theme, we begin to mistrust ourselves because we think that we're picking the wrong person. We think that we have to be a certain way to make them happy or to be good in their eyes or for us to attract them. But in reality, it's just an emotional wound that needs healing. Because in a real life, not a real life, but a healed life relationship with yourself in this wound, is that people can be who they are, whether that be that they are trustful or not, but it doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect the way that you welcome love, abundance, forgiveness into yourself. And that's the difference. Because that shit grows inside of us until it's healed. Because what happens, it's that pattern. If that pattern is searching for, and this is subconscious and unconscious, but if that pattern is searching for affirmation of that men are liars, it'll find it. It will find it. But then when you start to rewire and heal, the pattern becomes, I trust myself, and that is just their stuff. And maybe he's just not right for me. He's not aligned with me. I hope that helps today. I love you guys. I love this community. If you're open, if this brought up anything for you, any aha moments, I would urge you to reach out to me via DM. I have 4 more days left that I'm enrolling for Align into Authenticity. It's my one-on-one coaching flagship program, and I have 1 more spot available if you're looking for support in healing this emotional wound, so you're not leading with this protective behavior, men are liars. We all deserve beautiful connection and beautiful love, and it's really within us. It just needs to be blossomed and healed in support. So reach out to me, like I said, via DM. I have 4 days left. I'm enrolling for this program, and set up a 45-minute consultation call with me. See if it's a right fit for you. I mean, really, the cost of not doing this is the cost of staying in the same pattern, and that's not what I want for you. I love y'all. Bye.